the singer, guitarist, Mr. Necro.
Hi.
So, playing guitar and singing, which one did you start first?
Guitar. I'm actually not a singer, I'm a guitar player, but they needed somebody to do it, I guess. So that was me. So, yeah. So I started singing because there was, no other singer.
So, what made you want to pick up the guitar and shred?
I'd say the main band that did it for me back then was probably Metallica, and Justice for All was probably the album that made me, okay, that's what I want to do.
So, alright, so obviously Metallica was an influence.
Yeah.
Well, when starting guitar, did you just want to break out like Kirk Hammett, or just want to take things how you were told to so you can actually play that way?
No, it's self-taught originally, and then years down the track I sort of went and took lessons just to learn all the theory stuff. So it wasn't really about playing like Kirk Hammett, it was more about writing songs like Metallica, like big, long, riff-based music, if that makes sense. So that's where it sort of came from. It wasn't really about shredding, as in playing, like Van Halen. It was more about writing songs that were a bit more than just, a couple of chords and a solo. So a bit deeper.
And with singing, like, were you self-taught with that, or did you get lessons to train the voice so you wouldn't?
Well, initially I was just yelling into a microphone. That wasn't very helpful. Not great for the voice either. And then I just took vocal lessons as well, just to learn how to use your body rather than your throat, so I wouldn't blow my voice box out. Also, I figured if I'm going to sing, I'm going to try and sing properly than just yelling, because, we can do a lot more with it, so, yeah.
Like, if not guitar, what other instrument would you have used?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd probably say the bass is probably, it's one of my secondary instruments. Like, I do play the bass anyway, but, if I have to choose, if I can't play the guitar, then that's probably the instrument. But I like playing the drums too. I don't know, this is a tough one. But I'd probably say the bass a little bit more than the drums.
And, when either in the studio or on stage, what do you like the most about playing guitar?
It's a good release of energy. It's not about, what we're singing, or it's about volume, and I think it's been sort of said before, but volume really gets, to me it's a massive release. I don't really, I don't have many other voices, that's pretty much it. So playing in either the studio or on stage, that volume from the band, lots of bass, lots of drums, the whole thing, really just, it's a huge release for me. So if I'm having a bad day, it's gone by the end of a rehearsal, or gone by the end of a gig, that kind of thing.
And with singing, do you push yourself to reach those higher notes, or do you want to keep sort of the gravelly type of voice for the important?
Depends on what I'm singing. It'll depend on what I'm singing. If I'm trying to get a certain point of view across, especially with the original stuff, then I'm going to sing it in a particular way that I think merits that. An example is one of our new songs, Cape of Blood, which is based on Batman's feelings towards Superman from the Batman and Superman film, Batman vs Superman movie. Some parts of the song I'm actually singing in a gravelly voice because I'm trying to harness that emotion, that temperament from Batman. If anyone out there's seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Likewise, songs like Gravity, where I sing in a low tone and a high tone, is about Gravity is based on the film of the same name, which has got somebody trapped in space with not being able to be heard. So there's a euphoria and then desperation. That's what I'm trying to transmit. So it's about transmitting whatever I'm feeling at the time, or what I think the song is about, and translating it, I guess, through, you know, I don't know if translating is the right word, but yeah, translating it emotionally. So yeah.
And on guitar, what's your favorite string to play?
I'm gonna go cliche and say the G string, because isn't that what everyone says? Let's go G string.
Oh
That's
yeah.
fun.
No.
Yeah.
Nice string to pluck.
Yeah. Plucking's good.
Ever since starting, playing a few gigs and whatnot, what's been your favorite time?
There's been a couple of them. Last gig was definitely one of our best times, would you say? Yeah. Making one of our film clips was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was
It was
a lot of fun.
really bad 80s horror film, or worse than that.
It's as cheesy as it's going to get. It's beyond cheese. It's
Which other ones? There's been a
fantastic.
couple of a couple of gigs at the Brunswick Hotel and at the Boogeyman Bar that have been good.
Halloween, October, obviously 31st, 2014.
yeah,
was,
that was pretty
um,
good, yeah.
Fantastic. It was a big highlight. Even just look at the old photos. The stage was great. The drums, the whole setting, even from the actual venue, we played well, really well.
Favorite place to play?
Don't make us choose.
That's a tough one.
That's a really tough one.
For me, to sit between the Boogeyman Bar and the Brunswick Hotel. That's my two, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Necro at the moment.
Does the Unkind have a rival?
Ourselves.
Not really.
We're our own rival.
Great question.
Ooh.
Not from what I've
Each other.
seen.
No, yeah, we wouldn't have not as another band. No, look, any band that's a rival is really a band that we like to play with. There's not really anyone that we have, you know.
They're not a rival, they're a colleague, really.
Yeah. You know, and there's too many great ones to mention. Like, I think every band on that album launch that we did a few weeks back was phenomenal. Like every band was great. And then there's been bands like 3/4 Beast, Sort of Ordeal, all these bands. Poison Fish, we've done tons of gigs with.
Early years, yeah.
All of them, I can't label them as rivals. They've been other great bands. Bricks were good.
Bricks are awesome, yeah.
So fuck, I've been going forever. Can I say fuck? I said fuck. So yeah,
Great bands, and yeah, learn a lot off them as well. And good, yeah, it just brings a whole different perspective at each gig. They're different styles, experience levels as well. We improve, and the whole night, yeah, it's fantastic.
So, which big name, well-known band do you dream or one day hope to support and maybe tour with?
Look, there's a laundry list, but we've noticed a couple of our colleagues, if you will, rivals, colleagues, whatever we're referring to them as, like Commonwealth, for instance, they've been doing some really good stuff. So if we can do something like what they're doing, like playing with, Body Jar and bands from the States like Pennywise and whatnot, doing stuff like that, I think like that's where we need to be.
Yeah, and really, obviously, we're a band, of course, there's punk influence. There's other, but not just punk. So obviously, there's elements of rock, even metal, even as Necro touched on, and ourselves, in terms of our influences. So we can definitely, obviously, play with other bands such as rock bands, punk rock, metal. So there's a whole broad scope for us out there as well, which is great. Could be a promoter's dream in a way. We're not just like hard rock, Kiss, or Misfits, punk, which is the beauty about us, and the freedom we have.
yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. I'd probably say the ultimate band this band would gig with, and I'm not talking on behalf of these guys. I think the original Misfits would have been a good band to open with. Or Danzig. He'd probably hate us, but it doesn't matter. We'd like to open with him. It's like I'm asking out for a date. Yes, I'm asking Danzig out on a date. Yeah, so I'd say probably Misfits with Danzig.
You
Or
totally
Graves. I'll do Graves too. I don't care. I'll take them both on.
Danzig will
In
make us
bed.
pay for dinner
Without clothes.
on the date. You know, that's Danzig. He'll have to pay for dinner. We can do that.
We're cheap, so it's not going to happen, guys. Sorry.
Nah.
You spoke about a music video earlier. How was the experience of doing that?
Hectic.
Fun. It was hectic, yeah. Well, we pretty much... Well, I pretty much shot the thing, directed it, and edited the whole thing. Like, which, you know, we wrote the script in about an hour and a half. Had all the, like, we had a lot of friends pull out, so we had to improvise, I think, with, so it was basically, you know, your cliche horror film with some zombie-esque looking fellas walking into a place and killing 3 people. We were trying to kill more, but they didn't show up, so
Yeah.
they couldn't do that. And then, yeah, it was fun. It was a long night. Probably took, and we did stuff like, you know, and it's the film clip for a song called Edge, which is out there on YouTube if you want to check it out. But, you know, we use a lot of chroma key and all these kind of bullshit effects that I pretty much came up with on the spot and just keyed in different effects behind these guys playing and all that. So it was fun. And we had a good couple of mates come along and help us out with it, but it was really, really hectic.
The green screen was hilarious. You had to see it.
Oh, you can't see it.
Awesome.
It's up there somewhere.
So, yeah. Came out well, and as we envisioned it, as Nick did as well. In the end, we weren't trying to go for it. We're not trying to achieve a James Cameron music video clip. Of course not. It was, you know,
Oh,
B or B minus grade, if you want to call it that.
It was intended for like as a joke, and it really comes across as a joke as well. So, you know, as cheesy 80s as it can be, or 70s, 80s as it can be, you know, very, what's it called? Very bad, like, you know, Wes Craven, as in Last House on the Left, original Last House on the Left, kind of terrible, like it was bad.
It's a real contrast to the song itself, because the song itself is actually pretty brutal, to be honest.
And, well, with similar experience of making things, how was making the album?
Oh, that was hectic.
And that,
It was a long time. It was a very long time.
it's hard to put into words, really. Like, that's almost our life's work there, you know?
A solid process, to say the least. But great satisfaction.
Yeah.
You look at all the hard work, not just us, but the engineer, Adam Murphy as well.
Hey, Adam.
Great guy, fantastic individual. Knows his stuff back to front and sideways. And yeah, it was a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, Adam's been, well, he's done the sound. He's a mate of mine going from way back, but he's been the sound guy for a lot of our gigs when we've needed it, and
Pretty much the 4th member of the band, almost.
yeah, like kind of unofficially the 4th member of the band. He just basically, we'd rapped about it before, talking about like doing an album, and he really wanted to make this. I mean, we wanted it too, but he wanted to make it like a properly mixed album, properly mastered and all that. So it was a long process. I mean, it took us probably about 6 or 7 months to record each layer, and beyond that, like the mastering probably took another 6-7 months, and it was to the point of frustration. But the end justifies the means, and you know, the end result of that album proves the kind of work that he does. So, I mean, kudos to these guys for doing it. You know, I'll give myself credit as well, but the big one goes to Adam for that one, because he put in a lot of work into this album. And then works with Quirks, which is a contact of Grant's. Her artwork was just, it was perfect. It was like what we wanted. It took its time, but the payoff was huge in the end. Like it's a good product. It's come out really, really well. It's, you know, that album sounds better than we do.
He's right, you know. Totally.
Is there a band out there that you wouldn't gig with?
Yeah, there is. every band that doesn't put in the effort at the gigs. So it's not one band. We have here in Melbourne, and I can probably speak for most of Australia, the scene is at a horrible disadvantage to most of the live circuits out there. We're working 3 times as hard to get the people into the venues. It's not like what it was 10 years ago. So the bands that don't stick around after they're set to watch the other bands, we will never play with. We want bands that we never, like a perfect example was that album launch, which you were there too. All those bands stuck around. All those bands stuck around, supported every band that came on after they did. And that's what made the night work. Because that means by the time we came on, it was a packed house with everybody there, and that's the way it should be. So the bands we don't play with and the bands we refuse to play with are bands that play their shit, pack up and leave, because that's exactly the problem. And the day those musicians feel that they're the superstars of this show is the day that the mistakes be made. We're all in the same position. No band is better than us, and we're not better than any other band. We're all struggling to do the same fucking thing. It's really frustrating.
Doesn't matter who organises the gigs. People can call it headlining or not headlining or whatever. Whoever's on first or last. We're all exactly like Grant said. We're all colleagues virtually, and in the same musical boat in Melbourne / Australia. I remember you have some bands do that, and they pack up, unfortunately, and not even as much as a thank you, and it's working your butt off to get gigs out there, and it's hard yakka.
Also the bands that don't put into promote. Like, we always promote our shows, whether we get people in on the night may vary. We have nights that we have 10 people, we have nights where we have 15, we have nights where we have more, but the point is that every time we do a show, we promote it. We don't just try and piggyback off of the other band that's there. We put the effort in to get something out of it. Every band has to do the same thing. So they're the bands that we refuse to play with.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on. Oh, okay. So if we've had bands that we've played with, and they haven't done their bit, we won't play with them again. It's very simple. So yeah, I'll pass you on to Grant.
I've forgotten.
And the closing question, do you have any tips or advice for upcoming aspiring musicians?
Well, my number one tip would be to, no matter whether you're playing to one person or 100 people, bring your A game every time. Play as though to that one person as though you're playing to 100 people, It shouldn't make a difference. Like, you should always bring your A game. Just makes everything easier for you and the other bands.
Exactly what he said. It's easy to play a small venue and get into a relaxed mindset, but you've got to have that vision. It's not so much even just that gig. Really, just playing every gig like it's your last. We've heard of that sort of cliche statement in the past, but also it's really setting strong goals and just putting everything into it. Really, that's what I've learnt the most. You think it's just going to go out there and walk into gigs, but absolutely not. It's a competitive field. We all love and respect each other. Bands who are honest and out there, but really just go for it, have fun, but be focused.
I think the big part is just perseverance. You're not going to be a big star overnight. None of us are, especially in places like this. We're not in countries like the US that supports their live scene. So if you think you're going to make it tomorrow, that's not going to happen. You have to keep at it. I mean, this band's going near 5 years strong, and now we're starting to see those fruits of that labour. It hasn't happened overnight, and it's not been easy. It's been hard, and it's a rough thing to do. Like, being in live bands is not, that cliche limousines and groupies and shit. It's pack up your own gear, it's set up your own gear, it's get there on time, get off on time, leave that 15-minute gap for a sound check. I mean, it's a 5-minute sound check, let's be real. So persevere, work hard, because we're not even there yet. we've come a long way since we've started, but we're still trying to get to those positions. We've kept at it more than a lot of bands have, and all the bands like us that have kept at it, you know, we have bands alongside us that have been playing for now 5 years strong. Some of them going nearly 8 years, and they're starting to hit all those buffers because their crowd base is accumulated, and that's the way it works. So yeah, keep at it. If you think you're going to be a rock star in a couple of weeks or in a few months, it's not going to happen. That's it.
So that is the Unkind. Follow him, support him, see him, and make sure to be friendly, because the Unkind rule the world for all the trouble that it's worth. Bye.